So it's been about over a year since I've done something like this. I've done my original one called 13 Topics with another associate of mine. Uh, I kind of went at it from like a acted perspective because it did take like a second attempt to record. So I don't know, but here I have like a long time coming. Kind of in this. Here I'm with a special guest that you may have heard of or may not have heard of. Uh, yes, Megawiimaster1.
Hey!
I have done.
That's me. He said my name. He name dropped me. That's self-promotion. Actually, no, it's not self-promotion because I did say my own name, but thank you for having me here, Alex.
Name drop out of nowhere at all. Yes, Mega has been in quite a few appearances. Not on my channel specifically, but except for now. This is pretty much his first appearance on my channel, like, in general, so...
Yeah, I think so. I guess to catch the audience up, the major collaborative project that we did was the Super Mario Galaxy 2 versus on MChan338's channel. And I think you've shown up to a couple streams that I was co-commentating in, or like commenting in. But other than that, yeah, we haven't really worked on anything, and that's weird considering Galaxy 2 versus was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, hard to believe. Like, it's literally groundbreaking how, like, fast a certain time period just kind of flies by, and we just don't even realize it.
Yeah.
But I think I would say that after, like, all this time, I would say that Galaxy 2 Versus has been my all-time favorite, second to Twilight Princess Versus with MChan.
Nice. I don't know
they
if
were
I
all
have
fun.
a specific... Like, just verses in general, I don't know if I have a favorite. But I suppose, like, recently, like, when it comes to, like, collaborative projects, I've really enjoyed the things that I've been doing over on my collab channel, The Gamer's Garage, another shameless plug. Go check that out if you're interested in myself watching me give it and my brother just talking nonsense and arguing with each other.
There was a time that I actually watched, the first time I heard about Woodja was when I was watching, I think it was Malty's Let's Play of Luigi's Mansion, and he made like a guest appearance like somewhere towards the end, where he just kind of bombarded his video with like unexpected jokes and whatsoever. It was kind of, I don't know, it was something that I don't really see all the time, but I don't know, when I see like guest commentators on, I'll just like expect him to like say, hey, this is me, but like, I'm just gonna go like...
At the very least, I remember them waiting a while to introduce him, because he wasn't even in the video's title as a featured guest. So it was a surprise when he actually did show up.
Yeah, like, the way I've like heard about y'all is just kind of off the beaten path. It's just kind of like, say, hey, who are these guys? And then minutes later, I'm in a podcast, not a podcast, but in like a collaborative versus project with all four of them. Like,
Now, this is a podcast.
Multi MChan and Mega. And me. But yes, again, this is Mega. He's also, I want to point this out as well, not that it really has anything to do with what we were just discussing, but he's also, from the looks, a Walking Dead fan.
Yeah, so at the very least, the Telltale series. I have some opinions in the show. Some that are probably several years old at this point. But yes, I think the Telltale Walking Dead series is a very finely told story.
It really is. Like, it's really gone, like, really unrecognized how good of a series that is, and I'll explain why. If you take the show, for example, and just kind of, like, look at the characters, like, you'll notice how Tyler James Williams, like, he's kind of playing, like, his own character in, like, a real-life show, but you turn it into, like, a game, and it's, like, new characters, new storyline. It's, like, this little girl, like, wearing a hat with, like, a D on it. You don't really know who her name is until, like, an hour into the first season.
I
Like,
suppose I
story
will
of
also
Clementine,
clarify
at
that
least.
the fact that, who'd you say, Tyler James what?
Tyler James Williams. He also plays Chris and Everybody Hates Chris. I don't know if you watched it, but
Okay. All right. I was gonna say it's actually gotten to the point where I haven't watched Walking Dead in so long that I don't know who that is. But yes, I actually do know who that is. I haven't really watched like the AMC show since I think the premiere of season 7, if I'm right. They had introduced Negan, and I watched the first episode to see who the spoilers, by the way, for anybody watching. I tuned in to see who he had killed at the end of the previous season, and then I just kind of fell out of it because I get very intimidated watching shows that are almost an hour long. I don't really know why. I guess maybe I'm so used to watching YouTube and having the luxury of being able to double speed things so I get through videos quicker, but that could just be me.
Yeah, like, with everybody, like, gathered around in, like, a series, like, people will just, like, come at it with, like, a whole, like, different perspective. Like, everybody's different. They'll, like, jump to one conclusion, then the next. And that's really what today's youth is all about when it comes to, like, these kinds of series. Like, not even, like, TV, really, or, like, a shows or a game or anything. It's just whatever it is in life that they come across, everybody will have, like, a different conclusion, like, about what happens. Also, like, opinions as well. Like, we're a society about open opinions and open facts. Like, we can't really be entitled to both at one time, but opinions are what we're really entitled to, and like that's what we're here to do, like to share opinions and what we think is gonna happen. But I don't know, but yeah, The Walking Dead, like when I did the series, like I kind of went like in a backwards shape. I started off with like the final season, kind of not. That was like the first time.
It was still fairly new when you did the final season, right? I don't think the final season was quite a year old yet.
It was, yeah, it was approaching about 2 years.
Oh, okay.
2 years of age. Shocking, but I've watched like a bunch of the games and like I watched like a bunch of the gameplay, but I haven't really played it for myself because I kind of already knew how the game was going to end, like the games were going to end, but I kind of wanted to like play off of my own decision making because I don't know if you like heard me say that when I did like the final season, I kind of compared The Walking Dead to The Sims because like it's kind of like the apocalypse where you can like build like different kinds of relationships depending on like the choices. You
actually brought that up quite a bit during the Let's Play, like both season 4 and season 3.
Yeah, because I don't know, there's like no other way to describe it. It's like you go about and just roam the planet and just cause trouble, killing zombies and crap, and watching people die like in like the worst way possible, and still you got to be like the top man and like be a good decision maker. But
I will say, like, it probably you said that you kind of went through the Let's Playing it in kind of an unorthodox way because you started with season 4. At the very least, that isn't so bad because season 3, for the most part, I feel is kind of more of a self-contained story. So you went through that mostly blind, didn't you?
Season 3, I think a minority was pretty much, yeah, I kind of like saw a minority. The rest was kind of, blind to me.
So yeah, season 3, like, the most part, not to say like your choices don't matter, but if you're looking at the story of Clementine, really it's season 1, 2, and 4 that I feel like the important parts of her story. Season 3, for the most part, while it has an impact on her, there aren't a lot of choices that will affect the course of season 4, where they wrap up Clementine's story. So,
yeah,
in that sense, you didn't have to worry so much about continuity or anything whenever you recorded it for your channel.
Yeah, not quite. Because when I started it off, I was like the nervous one. I was like, I have no idea what the hell I'm about to do. So
hey,
I kind of just
we're gonna survive the zombie apocalypse, I guess.
I gotta say, like when I watched the final season, I was pretty much like, I watched it like back in the summertime of last year, it was like my first time seeing it. I believe it was like a certain Let's Player that I watched. I won't say his or her name.
Oh, okay.
I don't wanna be
When you said
out,
final season, I thought you meant the show for a second.
No, it's a game.
Okay.
But...
yeah, more or less, I just lost interest, or I couldn't keep up with the actual show. I don't like hate it or anything. I don't know what happened beyond the premiere of season 7.
Because in the game, you can actually control what's going on. In a show, you
Yes.
just watch it. It's like you can't change it at all.
And that's very engaging because, like, well, not every choice matters. There are, like, significant ones that will impact the story, even though, like, it more or less just kind of will come around to branching pathways, and at some point those branching pathways will come back together. But it is still very interesting, like, the course you can drive that plot.
Right. Which is another really important thing, because I think the two most important, or really I think, like, the one most important choice that I've seen was in season 4. It was like pretty much the make or break, like if it was going to be like a good ending for episode 4, season 4, is when you have to either save Violet or save Lewis. I think the best one would be to save Lewis, because in the end, both of them can talk. Like, one of them is not going to have their tongue cut out by a freaking shitmaster or something like that. It was pretty traumatizing to watch that scene, but I don't know. It's like, if you believe you should save the other person, then go for it. I can't really stop you, but...
Yeah, I want to say they imply that Violet's... Because Violet's thing is she's blinded, right? But they imply that her condition can get better, whereas if you don't save Lewis... I mean, he's not going to grow his tongue back.
Obviously
but it's like
not.
That choice and another choice in the final episode of Season 4 that will guarantee your ending overall. Like, there are at least like 2 major choices in that season that will determine your ending.
Pretty much. Like, that's what I was gonna kind of get at. Like, I think like the most important like series I've ever done on my channel, besides from like The Last of Us 2, Just Cause 4, and Uncharted 4, it would have to be The Walking Dead, because like really, there's no other game where you can like alter the storyline. Because I don't know, I kind of wanted to like take it on like a different kind of journey, because it's been a while since I've even like touched a series where I can interact with how things are going to end and start out. It's pretty
There have definitely been like choose your own adventure games before. I don't think anyone can doubt that. I can't name any specifics off the top of my head, but I think Telltale was like the first to really, I suppose, popularize it and give us that emotional connection and make our choices feel like they mean something.
Pretty much. It's like there's no other option. It's like, it's either you look inward to it and you come to your own conclusion, or you decide to kind of stray off.
There's no like right or wrong answer or anything either.
Yeah,
somebody's like bad ending may not necessarily be somebody else's bad ending, or vice versa, good ending, somebody else's good ending.
Pretty much that's what the way it is. Yeah, but now that we've caught up with The Walking Dead and like its conflicts and like the kind of negative impact and positive impact that it has on a person, I'm looking at your channel, Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door.
I figured that was probably going to come up. We, to catch the audience up, since I've never really done a podcast, I was asking Alex a few questions like, do we have specific topics we're going to bring up? And he said, no, for the most part, we're just going to kind of go with the flow, just make it more of a casual thing, and I'm fine with that, but I figured Thousand Year Door would probably come up at some point, so anyway, sorry, go on.
It snuck up on you. We'll make it short, but you talked quite a bit about like the series.
I have quite a lot of things to say about the Thousand Year Door. Very much all of them good.
By the looks, it looks like each episode is a pretty good duration long, about 25 to 30 minutes.
That's what I like to aim for. As I brought up earlier, I get intimidating watching really long videos or episodes of anything. So I try to lean towards the 20 to 25 minutes unless I don't feel like there's a good stopping point, then I keep going. But
Is that
the
how it
finale, which I'm sure you've noticed has not been recorded, or at least has not been uploaded, is not there.
We are busy men.
Well,
I'd assume that's why.
I have a heartbreaking story to tell, and no, the Thousand Year Door is not canceled. That is not what I'm saying here. I told you that I had a story I might save for the podcast before we actually began. Like off screen whenever I was telling him this. I actually recorded the finale, and it wasn't perfect, but I felt really good about the recording. And as it happened, my what was it? No, it was the audio. That's right. The gameplay and stuff turned out fine, but whenever I plugged in my capture card, it actually, I think, defaulted in Audacity. It defaulted the device to the capture card. So Audacity was recording the gameplay audio and not my own commentary. So I lost that whole recording. I mean, I suppose I could have post commentated it, but I don't think it would have felt the same. I think I really believe that it would have turned out better live. So that was back in, I think, either late May or early June, and I was very upset losing that. So I will have to try again when I feel up to it.
That's kind of what happened during my episode 3 of A New Frontier, because like in the middle of the episode, I'm not sure if you remember this, but I did lose a portion of my commentary as well. And I said to myself, you know what, I could probably post-commentate, but it would not be the same because I'm just watching what I did over again and just like pretending like I just didn't see it before. So, when I did, but...
Yeah, and like, commentating, like, especially a game like that with The Walking Dead, is very important because when you're watching a Let's Play, you want to understand the mind behind the commentator and why they pick the things that they do. Like, kind of like get their perspective on the events of the story.
Yeah, exactly. But because I lost a portion, I was like, I'm not even gonna like waste time because like, I don't know, because it's either I do commentary or I don't. I'm not gonna do it again, per se. But I feel like, yeah, if I can choose a conclusion for that one, I feel like that episode could have gone a whole lot better, commentary-wise and gameplay-wise. I won't say why, but for anybody else watching, like, I'm pretty sure 2 specific people that were in there, if they're watching this, they would know why. But, again, I'm not a name mentioner. I don't cause drama. I don't make the rules. I just kind of...
So you're already contradicting yourself. What's that about, Alex? You said my name at the beginning of this podcast. What's going on?
Anyways.
Right.
Anyways. Honestly, I don't talk about it anymore. I just kind of, go with the flow. I'm like more of a it happens, I move on kind of guy, but I don't know. Anyway. So, enough with the YouTube stuff. So what's been new in life? Like, what's your niche? You're in the college life, or are you out?
No, I've been graduated from college for about 3 years, trying to find a position in my field. For those of you who are unaware, I went to my local college for graphic design, and while I've been fairly unsuccessful, other than like a year-long position that unfortunately was eliminated due to COVID and lack of advertising and things I don't really want to get into here, but I do kind of have a lead on something. I don't want to say too much in case it falls through, but at the very least I have something I'm working towards.
So I guess if I can elaborate, when the friend was first broken out into the world, I'm not going to say the name because I'm going to, again, contradict myself. We all know what it is.
I'm just messing with you there. You don't actually have to feel guilty.
You know what? you know what? I don't think it's gonna harm anything. I'm just gonna say it.
You
Ever
don't
since
actually
COVID
have
was
to mention
released,
a name here.
ever since COVID was released, like, did college like kind of move to online, or did you still like want to be on the more in persons? Let's say if you still could go to college, are you like more of an online person or an in person learner?
Well, none of my classes were online. I graduated 3 years ago, so this was uh, far before the outbreak and pandemic and anything that very distant memory of things I never imagined I would have to consider. But uh, yeah, I prefer to be in person. I feel like I get distracted very easily, especially in front of a monitor, which is ironic considering the profession I've chosen. Uh, but yeah, that's kind of what I've been used to. I was always in-person classes, though online classes were offered at my university.
So they were there. You just decided not to take them because you're more of like a hands-on.
Yeah, well, that and I don't know if the classes I was required to take were offered online. I could be wrong.
Yeah, like for me, like it kind of depends because I'm still going to college. Like I'm still online right now. I'm heckin' nervous about what's gonna happen.
Oh,
Like
what's your major?
in the future. What's that? Oh, my
Well, what's your
major.
major?
It is. My major is. If I can, there's really two majors in one. One of them is coding, and then another one is going to be web security. So
Oh, nice.
what I'm trying to do is like kind of. I feel like no matter what you do, you have to know how to code in some way, shape, or form. So before we started this call, I was actually typing some code in because I got bored. I like kind of said in my head, I was like, "God, you're freaking grumpy, Alex. Go code or something." And I was like, you know what? I might feel a little bit better if I did. So I was like, I'll just whip out my laptop and just go to town. And like, I don't even care if it's like the easiest thing to code. I'll just like code it and like say, you know what? I did something. But
I did actually take one programming class in college. I think it ended up counting towards one of my math credits, but I struggled very much for that class because it was pretty different from what I was used to, or at least what I expected it was going to be. Because the semester prior to that, I had taken online web design, and in that we learned how to code HTML and CSS, and then we got into that where I had to learn. Unfortunately, I don't remember a lot of the terminology. Uh, like you have to learn about like integers and ASCII and all this other stuff that unfortunately I wasn't able to retain, and I don't still have that textbook. I think I sold it off at the end of the semester because I didn't see myself using it. But it was very stressful, and I actually had to go to like kind of an informal tutoring session with the professor after or later on during those days, so that way I could do better and at the very least pass.
I feel like that's where it really comes to, like nowadays. Like that's kind of what it comes to, because again, we have different types of learners. Like for me, like I'll learn anything, like depending on, I don't know, depending on who it is, where I'm learning it at, and like how long it takes. For me, like if it's on YouTube and if it's like exactly what I'm looking for, I'll do it. Like I'm willing to sit down and like watch like a 4 hour long video, even though I haven't really done that before in like one sitting. But yeah,
Well, there are different
coding
like
for
learners
me.
too. Like I don't know if this has been debunked or not, but there are like visual learners, hands-on learners, and uh, au- the auditory is that the proper term? Listening to things, learning. Uh,
Yeah,
but
I
I'm
think it's
very much
called.
like a visual learner, while having somebody show me what to do, and then I try to repeat that process until I feel comfortable enough doing it. That's kind of like my process.
Well, there you go. But you mentioned the Audible learn. I think it's like Audible or something.
Audible
Not
learn.
like
That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Audible. That's a book app. It's a really good one.
We're not sponsored.
I think that's what it's called there.
We're not sponsored.
I'm not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. Like YouTube don't like. YouTube's not gonna watch. They don't give a fuck.
We could
about
be.
my channel, but
We could be. That's been like a running joke in some of our co-commentaries in the Gamers Garage. We keep saying like not sponsored, but we could be, and then we ask people to give us sponsors.
I don't.
Anyway, sorry, I'm going on a tangent.
Money. I don't want money. I'm about the fun and the after effects. I don't want the numbers. But yeah, for me, I'm a really random learner. I can't really. I'm like most of the time I'm like a hands-on guy, but really, I learn in like all three ways. Like I'm so freaking random, it's ridiculous. Because if it feels good, do it. Like,
well, there you go.
Just do it.
If I can take over the interviewer driver seat for a second, what do you see yourself doing once you graduate?
When I graduate?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing that I'm doing while I'm going to college. There's this church place that I go to from time to time to do like digital work. And there's my cousin, I won't say his name, but I will. I'm gonna say it anyway. His name is Chris. His name is Chris, and I don't know if you heard of him.
That's my cousin's
he does,
name.
Like, oh my god, similarities.
Do we have the same cousin?
Similarities up the ass, I swear. But sorry about my language, but he does like the camera work and stuff. I just kind of sit there and like say, hey, I'm gonna like advance like the text and stuff so people can read about what's going on and all that jizz. But I don't know. I feel like that's a bit easy for me because like I think anybody can do it. It's not really like a paid position, but if I can like write stuff out and just make it happen, like in like the end, I can do that stuff. But no matter what it is, if it's like building a software or something, if it's like building a PowerPoint or like building a presentation, and like be like a really good writer, in the digital world, I'm probably gonna end up doing that once I graduate. I don't know how long it's gonna take me, but I guess we'll find out once I get to the bridge and try to like burn it down for myself. But
I don't know if you want to be burning a bridge. You might be mixing up your analogies, which I'm known to do from time to time.
Figuratively.
But yeah, I hope that works out for you. Do you? Does your major require anything, or as like a prerequisite to graduating? Like for me, for example, if I can give an example, we had to create a competent portfolio of our work so that way we could show potential employers what we're capable of. Is there a similar process in coding?
There's math.
There's math?
Yeah, there's math. To be honest, like, I might sound silly for this, but I have not taken a single math prerequisite yet.
I know that's a big part of it, so that surprises me.
Yeah, like, I'm just going for my associates to, like, see if I like it or not, and if I love what I'm doing, I'll go for my bachelor's. Like, I don't really care. Like,
so you're testing those waters then, more or less.
Yeah, because, like, I'm not really, like, huge on, like, the college, like, starter offer. I'm not gonna, like, start off and be like, I'm gonna get my bachelor's, I'm gonna get my master's. I'm, like, gonna, like, kind of ease into it, kind of like a ride, like, the ropes until I get there kind of thing. But, I don't know. If I like what I'm doing, I'll move on to a bachelor's, and if I really, really love it, I'll probably consider a master's. I don't see it happening, but if I do, it'll happen.
Yeah, I just went for a bachelor's, and right now that satisfies me, especially since, at least when it comes to art majors, the degree isn't really so much what matters. The jokes are kind of true that an art degree is useless. People more so care about your portfolio and what you can do.
Pretty much, like, I'd say that if I'm not sure where you're working at now. That's what I was actually gonna guess at. Where are you working?
Without getting too personal, I have recently left a position. Obviously, the graphics job I was working. Well, I mean, like, we're still in the pandemic, obviously, but they had to cut me because we were getting less advertising during the pandemic. So I kind of had to transfer into a factory job, and that's what I had been doing for a year up until recently when they shut down the building that I was in. And they, thankfully, like, nobody was fired. They offered people different positions across the campus because there was more than one building. But the best they could offer me was a 12-hour night position, and I thought to myself, I think I'd rather take my chances and find something else. So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
12-hour night position. That to me like makes me ask myself, how would I get sleep?
Yeah,
how would I get sleep?
I wasn't really about it. There was a time, I think back in February, where we had to do at least one 12-hour a week for, I think, about 8 weeks until they cut back on it again. And I didn't even like doing it then. I thought to myself, there's no way. The schedule does differ quite a bit, though. Like, you would work you'd work like 3 12-hour days, and then you'd have 2 days off. And then you'd work 2 days and you'd have 3 days off, but you wouldn't be guaranteed the weekends. You just kind of keep going in that cycle, and then you'd also have to work holidays, which I wasn't excited about. So I decided that I was just gonna leave.
And again, that's where I think most of the results come from, is from honesty. Like, you tell people what you really want to do. They'll understand. If they don't understand it and they're like, no, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, that's not a really good person. Like, that's not an understanding person. You don't want to, like, spend your kind of, time around those people. So I'd say, you know what? Why not kind of move on and, like, you say,
like,
I was really
screw what
everybody
to,
else
like, kind of bide my time, hoping for something better to come along. So I wasn't very heartbroken to leave.
But you know what you want to do. Like, you know exactly what you want, and you know where your niche is. And the more you seek it, the better off you're going to be, and you're getting it
right
in return.
Oh, but I don't want to get into too many details, because there's more I could say on that, but I'm going to hold back. And obviously I don't want to, like, throw anyone under the bus or anything like that. And I mean, not that anybody would hear it, I don't think.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to throw anybody under the bus either. Like, as much as I like have them want to, I'm not going to, because again, like, it could backfire, but I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah.
Again, like, we're about honesty, but not too much honesty, if that makes sense. So, yada yada. But I'm just gonna say, like, I've been in like the same position for like 2 years. I'm working, but like I'm just kind of chilling back. I'm doing my online stuff at the same time, so that's all I'm gonna say about what I'm doing.
Okay.
At the moment, but yeah, I don't know. School, like, it's gonna come up. Like, one of my classes I gotta take in person, so I gotta be pretty ready for that, because even though it's just a community college, it's gonna be like a pretty big campus. Because, like, I can't lie, for a community college, it's pretty big. I'd hate to see a university, because when I first saw it, like when my brother went to college, I'd have to go like visit for his orientation, because I wanted to see where he went to college. I nearly damn got lost. Even though I was like 13 or 14. Like,
just know the points of interest. I started with my university by learning where my classes were, and then I kind of learned where everything else was from there. So that way I knew how everything related to each other.
It's not bad. Like, again, when I was in high school, like, we had like the guys like in like the beginning of the year that like the teachers like gave them, hey, here's your schedule, like, here's where you landed on, here's the classes. It was a block schedule.
Good luck.
But like, we had those guys that were like, where's my class? I don't know what's going on. I gotta be here in 4 minutes, because, like, in between each class, I only got 4 minutes to get to the next one, and then the bell's gonna ring, and then if I don't get in there, I'm gonna be targeted, and then life's a big mess. Terrible. Terrible. High school is a pretty wild ride. I'm not gonna really go into too much detail, but it was a pretty wild ride. But in the end,
very much enjoyed the freedoms that came with going to college instead of high school.
Best thing about college, you can leave whenever you want.
Exactly. There you go.
I'd say the biggest thing we'll get out of college is, like, not saying that you've done anything wrong in college, because I don't know what you've done. Like, we didn't talk too much about it, but
I've done some things,
the thing
man.
is, guys, I hear, like, none of what you just said because I was talking over you, but
yeah, I just joked and said I've done some things, man.
oh my god, don't go into detail, please. Even though you can, like, I really wouldn't mind if you did, but depends on what you said. But the bottom line is, what guys?
No, I'm pretty boring. It also helps that I didn't actually live on campus.
Oh my dear.
Though I did have, like, a group of friends that I hung out with. They were, like, in a co-ed, like, apartment, and I kind of called myself the unofficial fifth roommate.
Unofficial fifth roommate.
Because, like,
What are
if
the
I
odds of that
ever
happening?
did stay over the night, it was with them, whether we were going on, whether I had to pull an all-nighter, which I have had to do, and whether we were going on a trip, because something that was kind of cool was my university, if you were part of the one of the art organizations, you could actually go on these free trips to both New York and DC, and they were day trips, so you would spend maybe like 7 or 8 hours there, and then we'd come home the same night. So those are really fun. We got to check out a lot of cool sites, like, especially New York, because I hadn't been to New York in, I think, like 15 years. And
Oh my dear.
yeah, we checked those things out. Like, I actually got to go to the Nintendo store for the first time in my life, and I was in Candyland there.
Candyland of the Nintendo store. I'd say that whatever you enjoy, if you see, like, a large collection of what you enjoy around you, I'd say you're in Candyland. That goes for everyone, by the way.
Yeah. I feel like everybody probably has, like, their own Candyland. Just a place where they can, like, gush over whatever it is that they're surrounded by.
I'm gushing with this podcast because I'm in Candyland right now. Like, I'd say if I really love what I'm doing, like, I love doing a ton of things, but if I really love doing those things, I'd say I'm in Candyland. Because, like, being in Candyland, I gotta say, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Well, there
Like,
you go.
Then we're gonna witness that one guy that just, like, jumps into a chocolate river, and then he's gonna get sucked up into, like, this huge pipe and get shot up into the sky, and then everybody
sometimes
else is gonna
you
get lost.
lose a few kids along the way, but, you gotta weed through the bad, rotten ones before you find the Charlie buckets.
All right. Oh my god, guys, we don't own any movies. We don't own any movies.
I know absolutely no movies at all.
We own nothing.
I never
And I mean
reference
nothing.
anything. Especially,
And I mean nothing.
what movie do I reference the most? I don't know. In the
You're
Gamers
about to do it
Garage,
again,
we
aren't you?
usually go like, no, no, no.
I was about to be like, you're about to do it again, aren't you? But
Yes.
I guess not. Brother. There is one more college question I have.
Sure.
Really quick. You're gonna want to punt. I'm gonna be in trouble for this at the end of this episode, like,
Oh,
or
man,
at the
I'm
end of
getting
this
nervous
podcast
right
when
now.
it gets. Campus advisory. How was that sort of thing?
Campus advisory. That actually was not my anything I had to deal with. That was a joke that was started, I think, between Multigamemaster1 and my cousin Whatchamagivit, where they.
You knew it was coming.
No, actually, I didn't, because I didn't expect you to direct it on me. They started the joke because they recorded a Pikmin versus together, and at the time Multi was still in college, and Campus Advisory, the wonderful human beings that they are, came by to remind Multi to go to dinner, and I think I'm only recalling stories that I've been told. I think shovel snow. I don't know why it's the students' responsibility to shovel snow outside, but yeah, they would just come and bug Multi, and he would just be like, "I'm recording." That's not how Multi sounds like at all. And then from that point, we just kind of relentlessly hounded Multi about that, asking about Campus Advisory, and yeah, fortunately I never had to deal with them because I commuted to school. I'm only like 15 minutes away from the university I graduated from.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No, not bad at all, actually. I probably saved a whole lot, but I also feel like I missed out on a lot.
That's pretty much what it is. Like I'd assume like you drive, right? Like you know how to like drive around, but 15 minutes is not really bad at all. Because tomorrow I gotta work at like 9, so I gotta drive like twice the distance because it's about 30 minutes away. But I don't mind. It's only gonna be for like 3 hours. I'm not really gonna go for like a whole day, and then afterwards, me and like a coworker are gonna like go get some chicken and then leave, and then we're gonna watch a pretty good movie when we get back because I'm pretty sure he's gonna want to come over. But what's up?
I said, what are you seeing?
I don't know. I'll pick something.
A pretty good movie that you don't know. Got it.
Whatever I pick, it's gonna be pretty good. It's gonna be like X-rated, but
oh no,
we'll see. X-rated movies.
The not safe for young eyes movie.
Yeah, adult time. Subscribe to my Patreon. I don't even use it, but
wait,
I don't even use it. But I was like, subscribe to my Patreon. I don't even use Patreon. But
I guess speaking of movies here, like, what stuff are you looking forward to coming up, or even like just shows?
Shows. That was actually a pretty good one. I think it's called the iCarly reboot, which I think everybody was psyched for. But once I saw it, I was like, kind of eh. It's not what I thought it was gonna be.
That's I think, Paramount Plus.
Yeah, Paramount. When Paramount released like the first episode that one night, a group of friends and I were gonna like get together in like a group call and like watch it. It was like 10 o'clock. I was like, are we gonna get together? I don't think we are. And then soon enough, like 20 minutes later, we get the call and we're like, okay, we're watching this. I was like, yeah, roller coaster of surprise. I guess we're watching the first episode of the iCarly reboot. It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. I gotta be honest, but
I've seen clips of it. Like just out of mere curiosity, like I watched iCarly whenever it premiered because I was like kind of like around like that target age group whenever it was on, and then I kind of fell out of it because I thought it was weird that they moved away from the web show aspect of it, which is kind of like what made it unique among like other like teen sitcoms that were on at the time. So yeah, and I just don't think like the quality of the writing was as good later on. But I don't really know much about the reboot and whether or not it lived up to the expectations people had for it.
If I can conclude how like of what the reboot like really is, I'm gonna kind of get the floor on this. For those who don't know about the iCarly, for those who haven't watched it or heard of it at least, or like didn't get like what the gist of it is when you like saw like the trailer, if you did, it's basically like the more adult version of the original iCarly. Like Spencer is like kind of having like a sailor mouth. Carly is like kind of like trying to get into like a marriage. Freddie is just kind of he is married, but like he's still living with his mom. It's pretty weird.
I have heard that like Carly is like more or less like an influencer now, which I suppose isn't like not like a super negative influencer, like more so just like the people who do like product placement videos, which isn't a bad, I suppose isn't a bad direction to take, especially with how internet culture has evolved since iCarly ended.
pretty much. Like, I kind of like already knew where this was, going. When the original show ended, I was like, you know what? Probably like a number of years from now, they're probably gonna come back and do something, and they did. I really wasn't wrong. But I didn't really come to that conclusion until like a few years later, because like I kind of like saw like these stars are like kind of coming back into like play. They want to get newer ideas and like get back together and probably make something new, and they did with Zoe 101.
I think they did like
Quite
a
a few years
one-off
ago.
video of like a reunion for that cast, if I remember, right?
For like a couple characters, yeah, but not every single one. And
Okay.
that goes for the iCarly reboot as well. Like not everybody is back, but I think Neville's back. I know that Gibby isn't back. He's like focusing on his YouTube channel.
Gibby was the best
By
character.
the way, it's
He was Gibby!
Gibby.
That's okay.
I think my
Maybe
favorite
Gibby
episode-
will make it in as DLC for Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. That's what I'm hoping for.
Oh my god, I can really picture that right now. I just like picture like Gibby's head just like bouncing on top of like a freaking Smash Bros stage. So dumb. And his taunt is just gonna be Gibby.
Gibby!
Gibby.
That's all he needs, man.
That's all I need. I think my favorite episode of the original show was when Gibby opened up his own restaurant called Gibby's.
It's like the poor man's Denny's.
Funny. Pretty much, like had like the same font, like the same like size and like kind of like patterns of like lettering. It's just kind of like across like the rainbow. It's like Gibby's, Gibby's. So dumb. I met I don't know if I told you, but I actually met Jeanette McCurdy like back in like 2010.
Oh,
I was
that's awesome.
12 at the time. Yeah, like people are like saying that today she's like going through like some kind of trauma and stuff, like throughout her like acting career, because she has like whenever like the original show ended, like she would do like nothing but like vent about how traumatized she was because of like all the pressure that she had to like put on her because of like her acting method. Because off screen, like it really isn't a game, because you have like your directors that are like getting on you for like not really doing a certain thing a certain way.
Yeah,
But-
well, that can't be easy to put on anyone, and on top of being like a young adolescent in for lack of a better term, the business.
The business.
Yeah, I can understand why a lot of young actors really come out of that like very stressed out. I don't know if it necessarily justifies some actions some of them will take in their life, but you can definitely see why it's there.
For sure, because like I'm pretty like certain, because
But it does sound, from what I've heard about Jeanette McCurdy, it sounds like she's taken a very mature route in her life and is currently doing things to work through whatever trauma she's gone through, and she's doing things, taking steps to make herself happy.
yeah, because for me, like I don't know if anybody else noticed, but in episode 1 of Just Cause 4, I mentioned that I've been through like some trauma as well. That's why I took like a 3-month break from YouTube, close to 3 months at least. But I'm still currently in a way going through it. But making content for me like kind of helps with that sort of thing. It's like if I don't do anything to like kind of set it back, I'm not gonna feel different or feel any better. So that's kind of like why
You're
hobbies
kind of like a
exist,
person
you do
who
things.
needs to keep doing things and like being creative as like an outlet of
Oh yeah.
self-expression, I guess.
Yeah, like whether like you feel
Get
creative or
satisfaction
not,
out of.
like yeah, exactly. But I was gonna say like whether you feel creative or not, like if you're doing something that you love doing, like it'll either put a smile on your face, like kind of like take your mind off of the negativity, like the strands of negativity that are like surrounding you and shit. But you do those things, it goes away, you feel better at the end of the day. That's all I gotta say about that. But for some people, that doesn't work, because again, like when we're talking about Jeanette McCurdy and like all these like young youths that are like growing up, they don't really have time to like see what adulthood is until they actually grow up. Because like if they have pressure being put on them like during their acting careers, they don't really like be honest with their peers and like say, hey, I don't like how this person is treating me, please do it differently, and we'll see how it goes. They don't really do that until the show's over. Because I would assume that's why they don't really do it and like be honest with people as they're there, because they're nervous about it.
Yeah, and then you get into like contractual obligations and legal action being taken if you don't follow through on some of the things you sign up for. And again, on top of being a young professional in the acting industry, I'm sure it could be tough for them.
Yeah, and like for those who actually been through it and like didn't really, experience any trauma at all, like I would salute them pretty much, because like I assume that it was difficult, like for anybody that was like able to keep like a straight face and like not frown about anything on screen or off screen, doesn't matter. But it's not easy, I would assume. But hey, we live and learn, so
yeah,
that goes for actors and non-actors, I guess. I can really jump into that. But
we are only human.
Human. The human philosophy of the philosophy. As I was saying that, I was like scrolling through like my channels that I'm like subscribed to right now. Like I'm almost subscribed to like 300 total. It's like 293 right now. So crazy. Why am I logged in? I'm talking about web security and college, and I'm already logged into my stuff. I don't really log out before I even shut my laptop off. It's like if somebody manages to get in here, my videos are gone. Like
you gotta set
it's
the
like,
example here, Alex.
Guys, log out of your stuff. Log out of your stuff when you leave your laptops behind. You never know what anybody is capable of. You really don't. I'm setting a really bad example. Like, I'm a terrible human being.
I'm very disappointed right now.
Disappear.
So what other stuff like that's upcoming are you excited for?
Upcoming, like, how do you mean? Like, movie-wise, game-wise?
Well, yeah, I guess just anything.
There's gonna be a buddy of mine kept mentioning to me like an Uncharted movie is coming out. I think it's gonna like star, I don't know if it was like Tom Holland or something.
Yes, actually,
like
I think the trailer at the time of recording this, I think the Uncharted movie trailer dropped a week ago, and it's chronicling the adventures of, was it young Nathan Drake? I don't know much about the Uncharted franchise, so I actually haven't seen it, but at the very least, I'm aware of that much of the plot for the movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna like assume that baby Nathan is gonna be in there somewhere, but I don't know where. I haven't really seen it. It's probably not gonna be out until next year. So
I'm still waiting for Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Spider-Man: No Way Home. No Way Home. Speaking of movies, like before we even started recording this, I was watching Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, just to like kind of get back on like the Harry Potter series, because we watched. Yeah, I watched Philosopher's Stone. It's not called the Sorcerer's Stone anymore. It's called the Philosopher's Stone. I don't know why, but.
Well, I think it's referring to like the Philosopher's Stone in. I don't think mythology is the right term, but like just throughout history. Like medieval history, I think what am I trying to say here? It was said that like alchemists, or at least in like fictional history, alchemists, people who work with like magic and science, would use the Philosopher's Stone to transmutate metal into gold, and that's more or less what they're doing in the first Harry Potter movie. That, and I think, or not just that. They say it can do that in the first Harry Potter movie, but it also has to deal with immortality, and that's something that the series Full Metal Alchemist deals with as well. They're on the quest to get the Philosopher's Stone.
The Philosopher's Stone will be something that will never exist in life.
Sadly.
I gotta say, like, that's kind of like the person that I am. Like, I'll notice, like, the difference in something that they changed, but I'm not, like, the kind of person to, like, go, like, deep down and, like, seek the reason as to why they changed the title. But I was like, you know what, hey, it's the same movie, nothing changed, it's just the title is different.
They might have also called it the Philosopher's Stone in Europe. Anyway, they might have Americanized it because what did the movies come out the early 2000s? They're just like, Americans aren't gonna know what that is. You know, just like Brock's jelly-filled donuts. If you remember that from Pokemon.
I'm kind of jumping back and forth. I might know what you're talking about. I don't know. I feel like
Brock is eating what's clearly supposed to be rice balls, but whenever they dubbed it for American audiences, he calls them jelly-filled donuts, and he says it over and over, which is the funnier part.
Yeah, I'm jumping back.
So it's like the same basic concept.
Yeah, I may have like an idea of what you're talking about. My Pokemon ego's really off at the moment. Like, I'm like deliriously tired. Like, we've been working and stuff. It's pretty jibby jabby, but I don't know. I'm just kind of jumping back slowly into like the world of shows and movies and games, I guess.
I guess I'll tell you, I'm also looking forward to Cobra Kai Season 4, if we've ever seen that.
Cobra Kai.
Cobra
I think
Kai
I've heard of that, actually.
I
think I've heard of that, actually.
It's the sequel series to the Karate Kid movies, which were made in the 80s. And it's one of the best examples, I think, of a continuation of an older property. Because it recognizes everything that was great about the original, and it's able to still make it feel fresh and new. Like, you obviously have the old cast there, but the new cast is also spectacular. And the coolest aspect, I think, to that show is it's kind of a show without heroes and villains. You sort of see why every character feels the way they are, or the way they do, and I don't feel like there's any character who is completely perfect. Well, except for one, but because I want more people to check the series out, I'm not going to spoil it, but it is somebody who shows up at the very end of Season 1. It's like the only character I don't trust in the series.
Can we trust anyone?
That was a long time to go on a rant about a show that you haven't seen, so I apologize here, Alex.
Can we trust anyone at this point?
Do we trust anyone? I don't know. What is trust?
What is time when you think about it?
Time is an illusion.
What is time when you think about it? Josh from Drake and Josh when he was late to class. Oh my god.
Time is an illusion, and so is death. That's actually something else I'm looking forward to, is the upcoming projects about you mentioned the iCarly reboot. That's on Paramount Plus. I don't have Paramount Plus yet, but I'm looking forward to the Avatar: The Last Airbender content that they're making for it.
I've seen those commercials like back in 2010, 2011. I was like, you know what? I'm really not gonna watch this. And then you have like today's youth that is like going back and they're like saying, I wonder what life was gonna be like from 2011 to now. I may as well just rewatch stuff. I want to go back to the land of like a decade ago.
Well, the Avatar
and
series
it feels better.
Is a phenomenal show. I would call it my favorite show of all time.
Yeah, like, I'm into Avatar a little bit. Like, if you can control, like, what is it? I think, like, the one thing that I, like, saw from, like, the trailer of Avatar: The Last Airbender was like when this guy is like controlling like the water flow, and like with his hands he's like saying, "I'm gonna throw water this way," and control.
I'm sure he said those words exactly.
If he said those words exactly, like, I'm just throwing stuff out there, man. Like, from what I remember. From what I remember, at least.
But yeah, truly spectacular series, and I'm looking forward to see what they make next, whether that's spin-offs or even just building the world that they have already created.
The time has changed. Also, there is one, it's a bit off topic, but there is one thing I wanted to like bring up. I doubt this is ever going to happen, but I'm just going to like kind of bring it up to raise the awareness. I think me and the two others are, because me and them talked about it, but you're the third person that I need to get to about this. Don't be nervous, it's not bad, but
Okay.
Galaxy 2 versus Rematch. Do you see it happening?
Is it a Galaxy 2 versus Rematch?
Yeah, do you see it happening?
Well,
that's the word that everybody else used. Those two.
well,
And Chanamulti, they were like, well, I don't really know. But
I don't actually know, if I'll be honest. I suppose I'm not like 100% against the idea, but right now I'm actually trying to do, I guess much like yourself here, like especially whenever you changed your YouTube username. You used to be LittleSah Plays, now you're just LittleSah because you wanted to branch out and do different things. I kind of want to focus on like other projects besides Versus. That, and for those of you who've never recorded a Versus before, they are a big time sink. There are a lot of moving parts to a Versus, and you have to like align schedules and make sure that everybody's footage and everything recorded properly, that there were no errors. And I did at least, was it 4 of those? I did Galaxy Versus, Galaxy 2 Versus, Luigi Galaxy Versus, and Kirby 64 Versus. And I think after Kirby 64 Versus, I felt to myself like I'm very much in need of a break. So I've been kind of stepping away. That, and I want to finish the 1,000-Year Door because I don't really want other projects I've had to commit to get in the way of that. Though I'm also doing stuff like this, so I mean, like, is that really getting in the way? Probably not. So
I will,
maybe.
I will say that, yeah, it's gonna be a maybe, but I guess we'll see. I will say, like, you got a point about like this. The downside of this whole thing is seeking the availability of everybody else, because everybody else is busy. Like, we're not interested in this crap, but again, like, when we are available, we really have no problem like recording anything at all, because like we'll collaborate, no problem. But we got to be available.
I mean, what are we doing right now?
That's the key here. But I don't know. Crap happens. Like crap happens. Like, it's unexpected, but
because like I have
change.
Like been offered invitations to like participated in new Versus. I'm not gonna name any specific ones because I don't want anybody like getting mad. Like, why didn't you sign on for this? But I politely declined and gave reasons that I basically highlighted like a minute ago.
Yeah. Well, for those wondering, now you know. Now you know the answer to whether or not there's going to be a Galaxy 2 versus a Rematch. The answer is, it's not confirmed.
Unconfirmed. That feels like a very safe answer. Good answer. Good answer.
It is not confirmed. Oh, what am I saying? It is confirmed. It's gonna happen.
No. Don't do that, Alex.
Guys, we don't know yet. Like, for anybody wondering, like, guys, we're adults. We have adult duties. We're not always available.
Do you actually get that
Times
as a
change.
question often?
Yeah. Times change, so do people, so does life. There's really no predicting this crap. At all. Whatsoever. For as long as I speak. it's so weird because when I did Luigi's Mansion with Multi, like, we really had no problem recording anything because it was just the two of us. I feel like the more people there is, the harder it's going to be.
Yeah,
which is exactly what happened.
4-player versus are very difficult.
Yeah, because especially with 4 adults, like, oh my god.
They can turn out to be a very good product because there's almost never a dull moment, especially with 4 people talking. But 2 is... If I were to sign on to a Versus in the future, I think it would probably be another 1v1, like I did with Multi. I did Kirby 64.
Really?
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, when I do Versus projects, I'll look at stuff like this. Does the person that I'm competing with have a passion for this series? And if they do I want to keep recording with them? And obviously, the 3 of y'all did have a passion.
I don't remember getting screened for Galaxy 2 Versus, or maybe you just watched the Galaxy Versus. I'm like, whatever. This Mega guy is okay enough.
But guys, it's like more than just about like racing and winning. It's about getting to like get along and know each other and like get to know each other. But even if you haven't met these guys before, like, it doesn't really matter. It's like if you can collaborate and just enjoy time with each other, like racing, losing or winning doesn't matter.
You can't worry about the destination. You gotta worry about the journey.
Yeah, like, there was that one episode where, like, Mega was, like, he was gonna get that star, but, like, time ran out. And
which one? That happened way more often than I care to admit in any Versus.
It was, like,
to the point
Stone
where
Cyclone
the term
or something.
Pulling a Mega is, at least in Max's community, like, getting so close to a significant goal, but running out of time in a Versus episode. That is what pulling a Mega is in Max's community now. And I'm responsible for helping coin that.
There was that episode where we ran out of time. You were about to get that star in, like, Stone Cyclone, and then you gave yourself a new name.
There it is.
You gave yourself a new name that day called Megawiimaster1. You were not having it.
I yelled, I think the loudest I had ever yelled during a recording until recently. Now we're doing on the Gamers Garage Kirby's Return to Dreamland, and the final world of the final world of that game gave us a lot of problems. That's a collab. It's still going on. I won't say too much, and I don't even know. Watch is the one who edits it. I don't know if he put in some of my more louder moments or how much he's edited out, but look forward to that potentially.
Exactly, like, we'll see, because when it comes to planning this stuff, we can't just jump straight into it. We either gotta plan it, do it ahead of time, and then we go for it. Like, we can't really just, expect, like,
there's a lot of pre-production in these projects, and you don't really just pick up and go. You need to decide who's doing what needs to happen, and then, like, on top of that, whoever is editing it has to have, like, graphics made, and they have to coordinate everybody to get their footage in, and like I said earlier, a lot of moving parts.
Exactly. And that's another thing, editing a 4-way Versus, my god, that has to be, like, the biggest nightmare of, like, anything.
But... yeah, you would basically have to watch through it, like, 4 times.
Yeah, it takes a while. It takes a pretty good while. Even for just Luigi's Mansion Versus, like, it doesn't really matter if it was just, like, a 2-way. I still have to, like, watch through it. Again, I didn't mind editing at all. Like, I had, like, the background made, the little Boo just sitting there in, like, the top middle, just kind of sitting there, just enjoying its time.
It helps that Luigi's Mansion is a fairly short game too. Like, you could beat that game about 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, definitely a game worth doing a versus project with, along with Sunshine as well. Like Super Mario Sunshine is it's a pretty good one as well. Can't really can't really deny that. But uh yeah, like
There is at least one. I don't know how much I want to say about this. It's something that we've at least talked about, but I've said maybe in the future, but not right now. Whatchamagivit has proposed that he and I do a versus of a game where we're both at least like kind of familiar with it. So we'd be fairly evenly matched, and I think the reason he said like it would be just me and him because like surprisingly he and I haven't done a versus where it's just been a 1v1 with me and him. And that could yield some really interesting commentary, especially with what we do on the Gamers Garage.
yeah, because like
But
for
I've said
instance,
it maybe at some point, but not right now.
yeah, because like for instance, like this is the first time you and I ever did like a 1v1 where we're just sitting
Yeah,
here
that's
talking
true.
about
I got to be
what's going.
careful
This
because
is
otherwise Whatcha will like show up with a non-disclosure agreement. It's like you're not allowed to talk about this. Don't say anything anymore, Mega. Got the baseball bat ready for your kneecaps.
oh my dear. Would ya? If you're watching, don't get crazy ideas. Like, honestly, no hard feelings. Like, we're all friends here. We love each other.
Nah, he's not.
But,
It's that he doesn't love me.
but yeah, let's just hope it doesn't come to that. Like,
Nah, he wouldn't actually do
the
that.
violent, the violence will not be allowed ever. There is a one other question that I'm pretty sure like y'all mentioned this during Galaxy 2 versus, but uh, given that Wojo wasn't available for whatever reason, what was the reason that he was out?
The reason, actually, it was a pretty simple question. He, at the time, he hadn't finished Galaxy 2 in its entirety. And I don't think we really wanted to invite him to a versus where we feel like he would have a disadvantage. Like, because he would either have to come do the versus blind, which wouldn't be fair to him, or we would have to pressure him into playing or finishing the game and then participating during a time where he wasn't really making videos so much. And I think he
So
has like
that's
an update video on like why he took it was like a 2 or 3 year break. It was like the video where he first revealed his face. So you can watch that for more details, but that's kind of the gist of it. He wasn't really recording a whole lot at the time, and we didn't want to force him to do a game that he wasn't like as familiar with.
so that's why. I thought it was like a more bigger reason as to like maybe he had something to do. Like
No, not
maybe
really.
he I guess. Like, I would really understand that because, really, for me, I wouldn't want to be in a versus where I feel like I would have a disadvantage as well. Because when it comes to these types of like projects, like it's got to be fair. Like, you got to know what to do. You got to jump straight for the race. Like, I feel like a disadvantage wouldn't be like a really fair standpoint for it. So I guess if you didn't want to do it, then I guess I understand. But
Well,
it would have been fun.
I kind of went into Galaxy 2 versus like after the first one. I think I went into Galaxy 2 versus knowing I probably wasn't gonna win because here's the thing about Max. Like it was for the first one, it was me, Whatcha, Multi, and Max, and of the four of us, Max or MChan338, he's the only one who like regularly speedruns things. So it was probably pretty clear that he was going to win, but Multi gave him a run for his money at a few points. So, like, at that point, I'm just like, okay, I am very much outmatched, but I was invited for Galaxy 2 anyway, and I thought to myself, well, like, I had fun doing the first one, and I'm just going to come along, like, again, just for the fun of it, but also I might pick up some really cool speedrun tricks, and I might even impress myself.
Yeah, that's Versus Talk 101 from Megawiimaster1.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
TED Talk featuring Megawiimaster1.
Hey, that's me.
go on TED Talk. And that's really all there is to it. Anyways, so that's gonna be. That was pretty good. Like, we talked about some stuff that was worth mentioning. Like, we caught up a lot. So.
Yeah, I think so. We didn't really like plan out a list of topics, but I feel like we were pretty diverse in like what we managed to get through.
Yeah, we kind of tackled it with like a standpoint that was like, you know what, like, it's not just topics like going like, I just want to get this over with, like, kind of thing. We're like just kind of easing in and just that's what kind of podcast this was gonna be. From the get-go.
This like I don't really feel like super intimidated doing this here either because there's very little setup and it's more of a casual thing. So if like you ever want to have me back, shoot me a message. I'd be down for it.
Yeah, although I'm sure there would be other guys that would want to jump in on a podcast if they're willing to. Like if they don't really feel like sitting down and like kind of talking for like a little bit and like kind of being featured. If they don't want to be featured, then I guess it's all right. But I guess if there's others, I'll find them as well. But if I ever want to do this again, I'll for sure hit you up.
Nice, thank you.
No problem. But again, guys, go subscribe to Megawiimaster1. He's been a participant in a Versus. He's a huge Walking Dead fan. He's got pranks on me. He's got like pranks where he's like jumping out of the closet and like kind of tackling me and down to the ground.
Wait, when did I do that?
I'm joking.
I was just saying, you remember something I don't. All right. Yeah, I guess if I'll give you a chance to self-promote. Yeah, my YouTube channel, which is the bulk of what I do, is Megawiimaster1. I have a Twitter. I don't really post a whole lot. I have my collab channel, which is being updated right now with our Let's Play of Kirby's Return to Dreamland with my brother and my cousin Whatchamigabit. Occasionally I do, like, voiceover narration for Max or MChan338. Recently he had me do his Majora's Mask 3D? Yes, it was just Majora's Mask 3D. There wasn't like any, like, it wasn't like a speed run or anything like that. And, you know, of course, like, I co-commentate things as well. So, that's the bulk of what I do.
There you go. There you go. That's... Really, if you can like type like and like copy and paste like a bio of Megawiimaster1 and like put it into like a more verbal context, that would be that right there.
So that sounds like a challenge, but I already did it, so beat you to it.
You already did it. Just in the video, you're just gonna put it in the editing software.
But thank you once again for inviting me. This was super fun, and I'd be down to do it again.
Yep, for sure. Guys, go subscribe to Megawiimaster1. He's freaking great. Freaking great dude. Great dude. Anyways. You do not want to know what I just did. You have no idea what I just did, and I'm not even going to tell you. But
well, okay then. Fine, keep your secrets.
I'm just gonna say that I got really close to my mic and just did something pretty weird, but.
All right, I just heard like.
That's exactly what it did. You hit the nail right on the head.
Oh, okay, then I already knew it then.
All right, guys. Let us know if you want to see more of these. This is a pretty good way of catching up with each other, and I'm really glad we did this. So I'm caught up with everyone.
Nice.
To say the least. Anyway, with that being said, subscribe, like, comment, or anything else. I will see y'all in the next movie trailer of podcasts. Bye-bye, peace out. Peace out, everyone. And I mean that figuratively, by the way. Bye, guys.